Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Carl again here. I just thought I'd give my opinions on Nintendo's E3 presentation for 2015. Alright, so let's just get this all out of the way. I don't think it blew everybody's mind, but let's not be a little bit too hasty and let's just kind of go over things a little bit. So this year they tried the Muppet take on things. They had these little Muppets of themselves while doing these short skits. I wouldn't even call them skits. They were just very brief clips of them doing pretty much nothing. Some people thought they were amusing. I didn't hate them. I didn't really like them either way. I guess it was nice to fill in the gaps with so few games that they showed. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. They didn't show a few games. They just didn't show as many games as I wish they had shown that were to my liking. Alright, so first up they showed off Star Fox, which was great. That's kind of the game that everyone was hoping to see. They showed a little bit, well, they teased a little bit of it last year. So this year they pulled it out, and it's a reimagining of Star Fox 64. Now what that means is basically it's just a remake of 64. Now if you haven't played 64 or you haven't played the 3DS version, which is the same thing, which is remade, now you've got a chance to play it on the Wii U. Now I might be sounding a little sarcastic here, but it doesn't really look fantastic. I'm sure it feels great. I'm sure it looks better in person. But and that's probably just me not being a huge Star Fox fan either. But if you are, I'm sure you're totally over the moon about it, which is great, and that's good. We need you to go buy it. Okay, so then how did it look? It looked fine. It didn't look great. It didn't blow me away, unfortunately. I was hoping that the first game that they were going to show was just going to blow my mind, but it didn't. That's okay. So, hey, this presentation is like an hour long, so fingers crossed there are other things. Yeah, sure. Let's move on to number 2. The second thing they showed was Skylanders Superchargers. That's cool! Guess what? A third-party developer is supporting them. They've got a game, Skylanders. If you don't know what Skylanders is, it's like a children's game. It's one of those Toys to Life category things where you buy these little figurines and then you put them on this little thing, on this little base, and then that character, the figurine character that you have, now appears in the game. I'm sure you know what it is. Anyway, they've got a new game coming out. It's called Superchargers, which means they get to hop in these little vehicles and hoon around and crash and shoot things. It looks really cool. It's a cool looking kids game. And the cool thing about it this time is that they've got some Nintendo exclusive characters. Now, Superchargers have never done Nintendo characters. Obviously, it's not their intellectual property and they can't use them. But this time around, Nintendo said, hey, sure, use 2 of our characters. So they put in Bowser and Donkey Kong, which I think are really cool characters. They fit in with the whole Skylanders theme. They're kind of monstery, sort of animal type things. You can't put Mario in there. He's a person. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if he's a person because I don't think Nintendo thinks he's a person. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. They've got these Donkey Kong and Bowser, and they also have their cars that they fit in. Donkey Kong has the barrel blaster or something, and Bowser has the clown bomber or something like that. They look really cool. The characters are multi. You can use them in multi games. You can actually use them for Skylanders as well as Amiibos. They've got this little twistable base, which is kind of cool. So for all the people out there that are really, really into collecting the Amiibo, they're probably ones that they're going to want to have to get. They don't look as nice as Amiibo. Well, I shouldn't say that. In my opinion, they don't look as nice, but I really do like their design. I think they're kind of unique and they're really funky. So, good on them. Unfortunately, it's not really a game that I'm really, really into, but now that it's kind of, it's got some Nintendo characters in there, it's kind of piqued my interest. So now we're moving on to the next game that they showed, which was The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Now this is, I talked about this in one of my previous videos. I was really hoping for a multiplayer Zelda game. I said, oh, you know, I'd really love for them to bring out Four Swords multiplayer online. Well, they've kind of done that. It just doesn't look like Four Swords. It looks like the last game that they brought out on the 3DS, not Link to the Past, whatever it is. Anyway, they've got this game. It looks good. It looks like a 3DS game. I'd really hoped that it was going to be on the Wii U because, you know, so they could utilize some of that horsepower that they've got. It is a 3DS game. I kind of like the idea of it. The video didn't blow me away when I'd first seen it, but the more I hear about it and the more I've seen of people playing it, I'm starting to, you know, take a little bit more notice and, yeah, I'm a little bit more excited about it. So I guess at the time I was really disappointed, but right now I'm quite keen on it. And then the next thing they showed straight after that was another 3DS game, which unfortunately was leaked just before the presentation. That was Hyrule Warriors for the 3DS. It's now called Hyrule Warriors Legends. Well, actually it was probably called that before, but unfortunately I cannot read Japanese. So it's now called Hyrule Warriors Legends. And it was the same trailer that they unfortunately leaked before the presentation. It looks good. I'm still really hooked on the Wii U version, and even though it's pretty much the same game, I'm probably going to get it because of how addicting it is. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you could probably watch lots of videos and reviews on the Wii U. Otherwise, if you're a Zelda fan, you're probably really familiar with the game by now. If you're a big fan of Samurai Warriors, then you'll know the premise of the game. You just go around beating thousands of enemies up. They're not exactly difficult, but every now and then you'll come across a mid-level boss or something, and you know they actually fight back, whereas most of them are just pretty much dummies. But yeah, it's a cool game, and so far through this presentation, I haven't been excited. Well, this year they had a lot to live up to because of last year's presentation was so great. I thought last year they threw a lot of curveballs, and I remember watching it thinking, oh my god, what did I just see? I have to watch this again. It was so good. And this time around, I'd seen the whole thing and I thought, wow, I'm a bit disappointed. Anyway, I'm a little bit sidetracked here, aren't I? So what was I up to? The next one. So this one is Fire Emblem Fates, and this comes hot on the heels of its previous title, Fire Emblem Awakening, which has gathered a lot of new fans. Kind of the first one I really gave a go. It's been out for a long time in Japan, but it's only really just started taking off here in the European countries. So how did it look? It looked really good. It looked bright and colorful and dramatic. But unfortunately, we had seen it last year too. Sure, they'd shown extended versions, and you know there were some new things in there. But I'm already sold on it, so I don't really need any more information. Am I really excited about it? I'll be really excited the day it comes because of how great Awakening was. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the type of gameplay, it's strategy or action strategy. So you've got an army of individual soldiers, not like Advanced Wars where you're actually controlling big teams, you know, a squadron of tanks or a squadron of soldiers. This time around you're controlling individual characters, and you place them, you march them around the battlefield, and you take on particular soldiers in a rock paper scissors style. You've got swords, lances, and you've got bow and arrow, and you've got all sorts of weapons, lots and lots of weapons. So it can get really complicated. There's also one of the big things about the game too is it has a permadeath thing. So if your character dies, they're never coming back. Luckily, the new feature from the previous game was that you could turn that off. So for beginners like me, you could actually enjoy the game without freaking out too much. It made the game way more appealing. I know that seems weird, and I'm not the type of person that likes an easy game, but I wasn't so. It wasn't such a daunting task to just try to get through the map unscathed. So yeah, it's a great looking game. It's something you should be looking forward to, even if you haven't tried it. If you like that sort of style, though, I guess you know, if you're not really into that type of game, then you're probably never going to be into that type of game. But there are some really cool elements to the game. You know, you can couple up some characters, so eventually, when they build up a strong relationship, they will have children, and those children will eventually enter the battlefield with your combined stats from your parents, which were really cool elements. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to return, because that was basically the story of Awakening, but I'm assuming it'll come back because of how popular it was. So yeah, anyway, that was Fire Emblem Fates, and now we'll move on to the next one. We're up to the Shin Megami Fire Emblem crossover game. I don't know what's going on in that trailer. Now, I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan, and unfortunately, I didn't really see a lot of Fire Emblem in it. I'm not really well versed in the whole Shin Megami games either, but from what I can tell, it's definitely like that game. So if you're a fan of that game, you'll probably really dig this game. Maybe. I to be honest, I have no idea. I'm not a huge fan of that game. I can see very, very, very little of the Fire Emblem elements in it. Sure, I saw a crazy looking Crom in there, and that's about it. And there's a lot of, I don't know what it is. People just singing and dancing. It just does not look like my thing. So it didn't get me excited in the presentation. But the game looks crazy, super crazy. Maybe it's the kind of game that could surprise me if I ever try it. But the video really hasn't tantalized me in any way, so maybe I might not even ever get around to trying it, or wanting to try it. Unfortunately, yeah, a bit disappointed with that one. All the video was in Japanese too. I have no idea what they were talking about. But, you know, it looks kind of pretty. I think, unfortunately too, with Nintendo having to show at the end of all of the presentations, they had a lot to live up to because of what Microsoft and Sony and Ubisoft had all shown. You know, they'd shown all these big games, all these big surprises. There were some really, really interesting and new things this year. And most of the things that Nintendo had showed this year were kind of things we were already expecting, and unfortunately weren't as flashy as some of those other games that were shown previously. So while they might not necessarily be fantastic looking games, at least they weren't misleading like a lot of the other ones. I've noticed, especially with Ubisoft over the last few years, they have these awesome cinematic video trailers, and they're amazing. And when I get around to actually playing those games, you know, 3 or 4 years down the line, they're really disappointing. They have so much hype at the time, you know, game of the show this, game of the show that, but when you get around to playing it, and then people are like, you know what, this is not good, this is not great, this is just very average. So at least with Nintendo games, it's not all smoke and mirrors. It's just kind of more like, yeah, well, this is the game, you know you're gonna like it. We don't need to put all these fireworks and sparkles all over the video. You know what it's going to be like. Yeah. And then, getting a little bit sidetracked here. Anyway, after that video, they showed Xenoblade Chronicles X again. They already showed that last year. So, you know, it's not another big thing. We're going, oh my gosh, look at this, a new game. We've seen this. It looks the same. If you weren't sold on it before, you're probably not sold on it now. It didn't do anything new. I think I was kind of on that downward spiral from then on. I was thinking, oh, come on. Xenoblade Chronicles is it's an open world game. You got lots and lots of monsters and dinosaur type things that you can battle and level up. I am really into that type of thing, but for some reason, I'm not drawn to this game. Maybe it's the way the characters look. I know that's a really silly thing for me to be put off by, but I wasn't a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles either, so I doubt I will enjoy this. After that, a new game. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. Wait a minute, it's not a new game. They did show that. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. From what we've seen, it looked like you're a real estate agent. Or, sorry, no, you're more like an interior decorator. That's what we'd seen so far. And you're just moving furniture around or choosing furniture for the resident that's moved in. And you have to go by what they like. And then maybe you get points or whatever. It looks cute. It does look cute. And I wasn't a huge fan of it before, but now I am. That's purely because they'd actually shown just the interior before, but now they've shown the exterior. So now you can move houses too. You can walk around the town a little bit more. So it's a little bit more open, more like a regular Animal Crossing. So that's cool. And they also showed off some really cool Amiibo. I'm definitely going to be getting KK Slider, the dog who plays the guitar. I'm a huge music fan. If you don't know, well, you probably don't. Obviously, you wouldn't know. Anyway, off topic again. Cute Amiibo. If you're an Animal Crossing fan, you'll probably like it. I'm sure I will get it for my wife. She's a huge Animal Crossing fan. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival came after that. Everyone was hoping for an Animal Crossing on Wii U. Here it is. Wait a minute, what the heck are all these little squares on the ground? It looks like Mario Party, except without minigames. Now, why couldn't we just have a regular Animal Crossing? They've got everything. They've got the outsides. They've got all of this stuff. That said, the more I hear about it, the more I like it. Because if you watch the Treehouse, which was the live events after the presentation where they play games and they talk about the games, they talk to the developers, they said that from Happy Home, the house that you have made will be in this game. So you have a fantastic looking house on the Happy Home Designer, you'll be able to see it in your game. That is cool. I would really like to be able to just hoon around playing that game with my boys and seeing the houses that maybe my wife and I have been making in our previous games. It also looks like a really simple game. I've got a 3-year-old boy who's totally into Amiibo, and I think this is kind of his game. You know, he doesn't know how to use the remotes and things. So I think this is definitely kind of a family title. And, you know, I was hoping for a regular Animal Crossing game, but this might actually suit me better. I should stop being a little bit selfish and get games for myself, because, like I said, I've got a 3-year-old, I've got a 5-year-old. They'll really dig this. I think they will dig this. You know, I happen to be one of their target audience. Yay, how about that? And unfortunately, the video didn't get me excited, but I am excited now. So, how about that? That'll unlock. This sucks, but right now, I'm not too grumpy about it. After that, they showed Yoshi's Woolly World. Well, we've already seen it. Super cute. This time around, PlayStation 4 had a Woolly game. I'd heard all these comments and things on Twitter about, oh, he's so cute, he's all made out of yarn and all this. I thought they were talking about Yoshi, but no, they're talking about another game that's basically a grittier version of Yoshi. Now, that's a bit disappointing, considering that Yoshi's Woolly World was around last year, and they're still completely ignoring him. Next game, Yokai Watch. Now, this is like the new Pokemon in Japan. It's been huge for a couple of years now. It's finally coming to the States, it's finally coming to England, it's finally coming to Australia, New Zealand. I'm in New Zealand, by the way. Yeah, sorry, didn't need to say that. But yeah, sure, Yokai Watch, you go catch monsters. I shouldn't say monsters, they're called yokai. Like little ghosts, you go catch them, and then you go battle other ones, and you help people out. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so, and this is another third-party developer too. It's from the same people that I think that did Professor Layton and all those games. Yeah, so that'll be a good one to look out for. You know, it's going to be of a high quality, and it'll probably have really, really awesome cinematic videos in it. If you're not familiar with Yokai Watch, check it out. It's definitely a kind of a kid's game though, for the 3DS. Okay, and after that, Mario Luigi Paper Jam. Awesome. Another one of those RPG style games on the 3DS. I don't really like them. I've really tried, I've tried. But this time they've got Paper Mario. That's cool. Everyone loves Paper Mario. But unfortunately it's still in the Mario and Luigi style game, which is basically what Paper Mario used to be. It used to be an RPG style game like that. So I'm not too sure why. I'm not a huge fan of it. I guess, you know, like I said, I've played previous titles, haven't been a huge fan. Even though it's got Paper Mario and it's quite tempting, I'm probably going to miss out on this. The video, it was pretty good. It was quite entertaining. You know, you've got, I shouldn't say real life versions of them, but they've got paper versions and their regular versions meeting up with each other. So, you know, Peach meets up with Paper Peach and Bowser meets Paper Bowser. It's, you know, it's all very cute. It's all very Nintendo-y. But yeah, so far, haven't seen any fantastic games. Nothing that's blown my mind, but then nothing that's really too bad. There was also, after that, they showed Mario Tennis, Ultra Smash. You know, we're all hungering for sports games on the Nintendo Wii. They've got a tennis game. It just looks the same as, I don't even know if it was on the Wii. I'm sure it was on the GameCube and it was on the Nintendo 64. It looks fine. It looks good. If you're a big fan of tennis, it's probably going to be really cool. Maybe I'm just a little bit tired of the tennis games. I've got it on my 3DS. I played it on the Nintendo 64, and I don't think I played it much anywhere else. I think I just got sick of them. And this just looks the same. You know, it doesn't look any different. It doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look like it's got any really cool extra features yet. I should say yet, shouldn't I? Because these are all just premieres and you know, just teasers of what the games are like, and Nintendo always holds stuff back just before it's released. But you know, at least we've got a sports game. You know, I'd much rather have hoped for something like you know, hockey or baseball or something. But you know, tennis is crazy. It's good. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's online. Maybe I should check out the Treehouse videos. Yeah, and just so you know, you should check out the Treehouse videos. They're really good. If you want to find out more information about them, you watch those videos. They're on the Nintendo YouTube channel, and they're really helpful. They've got people that work for Nintendo. They're talking to the developers, the people that make the games, and they actually play the games. And you know, they're asking questions and all sorts of things. So that's where you find out all this really cool information. So you don't need me. Just go watch the videos. All right, and then the big one, Super Mario Maker. They've changed the name from Mario Maker to Super Mario Maker. It doesn't really change anything, but the game just keeps looking better and better. I'm really, really excited. They showed off a lot more things this time around. If you're collecting Amiibo like me, unfortunately, you know, that costs too much money. I'm spending too much money on these toys. But these Amiibo, you know, now you've got skins. You know, you can change the way Mario looks to be the way that your Amiibo looks. So, you know, for instance, if you've got a Link from the Legend of Zelda Amiibo, tap them on there. A new item that you can now drag into one of the boxes, like a super mushroom, will now be like a costume for Mario to wear, so he can look like Link, or he can look like Isabelle from Animal Crossing. So yeah, that's going to be kind of cool. I don't think it changes anything in the actual game, but they're adding so many things to the game. It's just looking amazing, and they also showed off some levels at the Nintendo World Championships, which was really, really impressive. If you haven't seen that, you don't need to see all the rest of it if you don't want to, but if you want to see the Mario Maker thing, you just go all the way to the very end, the finals between the two people. They do 3 levels each. It's amazing. It was really cool. Actually, I missed one thing out. Or should I say 2 things? And they were the most disappointing things, especially if you're going to be reading things on the internet. And that was the Metroid Prime Federation Force. It was a 3DS title. You may have seen the trailer before the presentation because it was premiered during the Nintendo World Championships. They showed a Blast Ball, which was basically soccer, but you're shooting the ball in a first-person style. It's a kind of a sci-fi type thing. You know, you got these charge shots, hold down the button, let it go, and it makes a big bang. And then you just have to keep shooting the ball into the goal. I think it was a 3-on-3. Yes, a 3-on-3. You know, red team, blue team, trying to shoot the ball into the other team's goal. Yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine, but at the time in the Nintendo World Championships, people didn't know that it was a Metroid game. And I remember watching the premiere and hearing everybody in the audience, and then no one was super excited for this Blast Ball. When the actual E3 presentation had happened, the internet just blew up and thought, this is Metroid? Nobody wants this. And fair enough, I wouldn't say it's Metroid, it's a spin-off of Metroid, okay? So that's fine, you know, you can't get too grumpy at this. But there's also another element to it, which has a cooperative, I guess it's like just like a tournament style thing, perhaps. I'm not too sure, but you've got a team of people, and you're going through. Maybe it's like a dungeon style thing, or kind of similar to Metroid. But like I said, you've got a team. But in this team, you've got each person has to carry a particular loadout of weapons. I don't think you can have the same things, and each loadout has a level of weight and firepower and things to them, so you can't just be super overpowered because you can't carry it all. So you have to make sure that you're fairly balanced, and you're also going to have to cooperate with your team while you're battling these big bosses and things. So it sounds a lot cooler than it looked, unfortunately. So I think, you know, since the dust has settled now, I think maybe people will get over the fact that it's not what they wanted, but at least it's something. But perhaps give it a try. Everyone that's tried it has said that it is actually really fun. So maybe, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, as they say. Just give it a go. All right, so I think that was pretty much the presentation. They had this little video at the end, Let Super Mario. So, you know, you upload these videos of you celebrating Mario, you know, singing, dancing, or whatever. You could do whatever you wanted. But that wasn't exactly the kind of finish that people had hoped. You know, it felt like they were building up to say, and here's the new Mario 64 or something. There were no virtual console updates, you know, like, okay, so now we're adding GameCube or anything like that. There weren't any, they didn't show any remakes of old games. There weren't a lot of things to get me excited personally, but you know what, I'm just one person in the world. They don't have to listen to me. But, you know, I'm hugely disappointed. You know, I'll get over it because Nintendo pretty much have E3s all year. You know, they have these directs that are super cool. They show all this new stuff. You know, it's going to be awesome. I've got Mario Maker to look forward to. That's going to keep me happy. And I'm kind of glad that they don't have too many titles. I hate playing a game for a month and then the new game comes out. You know, I want to 100% complete a game. So that's enough babbling for me. You're probably bored out of your brain. Listen to me. I'm really sorry. So that's what I thought of it. You can tell me your opinions. If you've got something to share, put it in the comments. I may even comment back. So anyway, that's all I've really got to say. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, please. And if you want to hear some more, just subscribe.